Travis Wayne Goodsall. For those of you who have been following me for a while know that YouTube has attacked me. You can't see it, but I cannot watch videos on YouTube anymore. YouTube will not allow me. And I've shown you the pictures as I make thumbnail pictures for you. And this follows an escalated pattern of practice. YouTube's been doing this to me ever since 2017. They've been threatening me from posting videos. And it coincides with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints ordering Mormons to likewise attack me. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Ever since I moved to Utah in August of 1996, and then went on to decipher Paleo-Hebrew in 6 months, February 1997, I have been under attack by Mormons. And I don't understand. Born and raised in the covenant, faithful, an early morning graduate of seminary, 100% attendance, and went on a mission to New York, where Creole Coford got called up from the mission to be in the first quorum of 70. I think it was second quorum. I'm not sure. Well, it's confusing now because so much time has gone by and changes have been made in the administration. But I know why he got called in, and I have lots of stories about that because I was a part of that, because I was on the mission when he was the president. And then I came back to Rick's College. I passed up on Michelle Binns. It didn't feel right, and I couldn't explain it. And so I did the honorable thing and knocked on her door and told her in person, and then she cried and I felt guilty and felt like scum of the earth. And then one rainy evening, as I was going to the Man-Wearing Center for dinner, I was snuck up from behind by probably the most beautiful woman on the face of the earth with an umbrella. And she was perfect. She was the Relief Society president. She was the president of the sorority at Rick's. She was Woman of the Year. She was taking child development. And because she liked me, she made time for me. And so every evening when I would bring her home before curfew, they had cages for the women. Women had to be checked in before the gates were locked from us wolves. And every single night after I dropped her off, there was the bald-headed computer programmer student with some gift for her. You know, a dozen long stem roses, teddy bears, chocolates, all sorts of stuff to try to bribe her to go out with him. And she rejected him. She was dating me. And so because of how perfect she was, how high up on the pedestal she was. I didn't feel good enough for her. And I left her too. That is my one and only one regret in life. Because then she went and immediately married the other guy. And so now I'm sure she's happy and has a billion kids and is living a nice, rich lifestyle. So yeah, I then settled for a half-breed Canadian who took me up to Canada, and we would go to the hospital and pick out the cute little babies that were for free. And then the government would pay us for the babies. And then back and forth experiences. Would get married in the Cardston, Alberta temple as the prostitution price for her. And so yeah, then we'd come to Utah. It was so that she could dump me off. She was not happy that I didn't immediately get a house with a white picket fence and bedrooms for every kid, and 2 cars and credit cards for her so that she can go shopping all day. And so she wasn't willing to wait as I was trying to build up from the bottom up in a company that was the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Even though she left a month before I would then be offered a promotion and a raise, and I turned it down because she left me. What was the point? What's forever for? Martin Murphy. And so then the stake president kicked me out of the family ward, and I was forced to go to the young single adult ward. And oh dear God, what a nightmare. Because I was divorced, none of the little girls wanted me. And so it was just a waste of my time. But the church called me to be a special church service missionary. It's not something you can apply for. You're not supposed to know about it. When the president of the church gives the prophecy and revelation for a project to be done, what was then called the priesthood curriculum department is then activated, and the supervisor is then assigned with the powers of Jesus to have discernment in who to choose to help with the project. And I had to get set apart by my stake president. Otherwise, I don't have any abilities. But once his hands were laid on my head and he said, in the name of Jesus Christ, all of a sudden, the mantle came upon me, and I had inspiration and revelation that I never had before. Obviously, I'm joking. Yeah, the religion had many idol-worshipping, superstitious practices in it, such as the prayer circle in the temples, where you sign on a slip of paper a name, and that gets put on the altars of the temple, and then the officiator does his prayer thing. That's idol worship. That's not how prayer is supposed to be done. And so my education up at the apostate, anti-Mormon, anti-Christ University of Lethbridge that taught me biblical Hebrew and Greek and Latin and the ancient Middle East, as I would supplement it with the University of Utah, as my dad threatened to murder me and kick me to the curb again. And so my mom forced me to go to the University of Utah, and then the University of Utah extorted me and said, you're not allowed in unless you pay money to get shots that are unnecessary for you. Because our doctors are elite supremacists, and they know better. And it turns out they don't. I didn't need those shots. They were forcing me to get them. But nonetheless, I was going to take get a Hebrew bachelor's, because the office said, oh yeah, we have a Hebrew degree we can offer you, and so no classes for it. You kind of need to offer the classes if I'm going to get a degree in it. Nope. And they said, hey, how about Arabic? Hebrew. Not Arabic, Hebrew. God, what a waste. And so I found Eva Vasilevska. The weaknesses became strengths, as she is a national treasure, and the University of Utah did not promote her as well as they needed to. If you do not know her, dear God, you are missing out. She's got a book, and it's online. It was one of the classes that she taught, textbooks, but none of her classes were allowed as credits at the university. I mean, a gold mine of a teacher at the University of Utah, and the University of Utah refused to have any of her classes count as credit. Wow, that's cruel. But she was the closest to the degree that I wanted and asked for, and was told that they had it, but it did not count. Anthropology of the Ancient Middle East. And so, yeah, at the University of Lethbridge, I get the foremost scholar taught by Thomas O. Lambden of Harvard, as he was in geology at the University of Lethbridge. And because I didn't have a major, the guidance counselor said, you've been here for 2 years and you still don't have a major declared? Yeah. And so she created one, and she didn't know anything of the subject matters of the classes that I took. And so she just named them, and it became a dual bachelor's with a minor. Zalewska, and there it is. Anthropology of Humor and Laughter, huh? Interesting. And Scott, Polish edition. I cannot speak Polish, I guess. And then here's Speaker Briefing Book, a review of the history, culture, and economics of Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Russia. That's not her. And that's Anita, Logics for Computer Science. So it's just those 4. But this one, that was 2013. That's 2015. Interesting. I hope she's still alive. She had some medical problems back when I was taking her classes. So I hope she's doing okay. And they've bumped up the price, even though it is prime. Paperback, $47.95. Why did they do that? That's stupid. You know, just give us the full price, including tax. Don't play games with us. But yeah, everybody's tax is different, and that's why. So anyway, Creation Stories of the Middle East. Iwa Wasilewska, as the phonetic English spelling would have it. And so there you've got a Mesopotamian deity, female deity, with her toe on the back of a lion. Yep. Good times. And so no, I'm not going to link you. It's too much work, and I'm under cyber attack. See, right now, everything's fine on the camera. It's not being shut down and frozen. But if I'm going to start back up doing videos despite the attack, which they are refusing to tell me why, they're refusing to allow me to be set free. They do attack me, and this is confirmation, because not being on YouTube, I'm not being attacked. When I was on YouTube, I was being attacked. It's real simple. And so yeah, YouTube's attacking me. The question is why? I'm a faithful Mormon. What did I do wrong? So I don't preach against the Book of Mormon. I don't preach against Joseph Smith. I use the Book of Mormon, the words of Joseph Smith, and especially now from the Joseph Smith papers that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints published online on a special website that's free to access, even though Google occasionally says that it's restricted and potentially harmful. But right there on the home page, the Joseph Smith Papers says it is the authoritative source. Mormons know exactly what that means. And yet, Mormons don't utilize it, do you? And so when I cover from these historical documents of the origin of our church, Mormons don't believe me. I am not authorized. I'm sorry, but I am. I became a Melchizedek priesthood holder, and as such, I am ordered as my duty to preach the Book of Mormon and the words of Joseph Smith. What's your authorization and duty if it's not the same? And so, ever since 2017, with the #1 video, YouTube began to attack me. And Mormons in my life began to attack me. The bishop out in West Valley trapped me while my marriage was in jeopardy, because he was also helping her leave, just like the previous bishop with the first wife was helping her leave. And also her sister was helping her leave in the West Valley one, because they were following me on YouTube. And so my #1 video was about the Joseph Smith translation of Revelation chapter 12. But I didn't know about that yet, because verse 5 gets moved to verse 3 to be a part of that. But I found it. And so I would then, as you watch my videos over the years, learn line upon line, precept upon precept, teaching you guys how to do your study and research, how to learn about the ancients and how they wrote their scriptures. Not violating the Book of Mormon, not violating the Bible, not violating Joseph Smith. But I'm getting attacked. The bishop would come out and tell me that video you did about the Book of Mormon is going against the prophets. You need to take it down. Otherwise, why are you bothering to come to church? The Book of Mormon. Adam fell. Everybody knows it. You may not know the passage, the chapter and verse of the book, but everybody knows it because it's a scripture mastery in everything. Seminary, missions, institute. I don't memorize, but I know through associative memory. Adam fell. Did any of you bother to check the index for all of the scriptures pertaining to Eve? And then go to Adam. And so Joseph Smith in section 29 of the Doctrine and Covenants, verses 36 and 40. Did you know about it? Do you believe it? Or is Joseph Smith wrong? Because it goes against the prophets. What? Joseph Smith founded our church. At least as this church claims. How does Joseph Smith go against the current church? How did this church get more authority than Joseph? These are the kinds of attacks that I've been getting from Mormons who've been trying to cause harm to me and to my property, to separate me from my property, to cause me to lose my home, to be homeless, to die. Attempted murders have been made on me. And for what? Why are Mormons trying to murder me? To silence me? Why are Mormons claiming I'm the one going against the prophets? What is it that I'm saying that is wrong and is a lie? Because it's the Book of Mormon. It's Joseph Smith's own words. Why are you, as a Mormon, rejecting the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith to make me the enemy? And nobody can explain this to me. The majority of Mormons use an ad hominem attack, which is a fallacy, which is related to falsehood, which means you're lying with verbal abuse to try to tell me I'm wrong, to threaten me to deny the truth? Or you say I'm twisting things? Really? So Adam didn't fall. I somehow twisted that? The Book of Mormon is in the learning of the Jews, and I somehow twisted that. And people really think that they're going to threaten me to deny the truth. It got so bad that I was forced to sue the church. It was technically in 2019, but because of the scandal in the federal courts at that time, I didn't figure out how to serve the church until 2020, and then chaos ensued. And so ever since then, the attacks have been more severe against me. But the same pattern, 2008, 2017, 2020, 2022, and this year. And this year is more severe of an attack. Though 2022 was pretty severe. It was an escalating severity. They keep getting worse. And the government gets involved against me in all of these as well. Because in case you didn't know, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints owns and operates the whole state of Utah. If you're going to deny it, deny the history of this church founded by Brigham Young and the settlement in this valley, I'm willing to bet you probably think that the founding of the nation is on the 24th of July, don't you? You have no clue when Utah was incorporated into the United States of America, do you? Because Utah won't let you know. It was the 24th of July. That's their story, and they're sticking to it. And for the most part, they don't even tell you that this land was not even the United States of America in 1847. Brigham Young fled the country. Again. That bastard. Yeah, the Joseph Smith Papers. Oh my God. Because they mixed him with Joseph Smith, and so it's hard to tell other than by the name of the church. That is your big clue as to the difference. And so yeah, I just became, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. And I became, Hinckley, the bees. You don't just talk the talk, you don't walk the walk, you become the being. That is the fruit. The actions are not the fruit. Have you never planted a seed and grown it into a fruit? Do you not know that process? Are we that far from an agricultural society that you have no clue how you get your food in the grocery stores? Have you ever been in a relationship where you had a child? You seriously not understand what the scriptures mean? By their fruits you will know a false prophet, and thus a true prophet. Are you seriously claiming to be that dumb? And so yes, I have all the keys of the president of Joseph's church. I have all the gifts of prophet, seer, revelator, and translator of Hebrew and Egyptian. Because of my fruit, I am accomplished. I have never claimed the titles. Therefore, obey me, or I will smite you down with lightning bolts. No, I don't put you in bondage, forcing you to wear underwear. I don't take away your agency. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does. And you should have known whose doctrine that is. We all get taught it. We have special extra information because of Joseph Smith about the nature and character of Lucifer. Not even Christians know about it. And Christians get upset that we know about it. And try to take away our agency and threaten us to deny the truth. You never ran the test, did you? You were supposed to. You're casual Mormons. You're lazy learners and lax disciples because you won't study. Church tells you not to study, so you obey. That part, anyway. You don't want to learn the truth. Oh, that's deep doctrine. I'm only going to focus on faith and repentance. And you still don't even know what they are. Because again, remember fruit? You're not supposed to say, I've got a seed. I know it all. My feelings must be validated. And this is why you do not see me as telling you the truth. This is why you don't believe the Book of Mormon or Joseph Smith. You believe the lies of this church. For generations, they've been rewriting history. They would rewrite history, scandal would emerge. They'd rewrite history, scandal would emerge. Rewrite history, scandal would emerge. And that's just in my lifetime. It's been going on all the way from the beginning, as I read in the Joseph Smith papers of the rewriting of the history in real time. And so, yeah, the church prophets get angry at you if you do not believe their version of church history. That's why they get angry having to rewrite it all the time. They want you to believe that Thomas B. Marsh left the church because of apostasy for defending his wife's honor. They don't want you to know it was because of his affidavit to cause the extermination order of Governor Boggs, claiming that the Danites told him that Joseph Smith was now the leader of the Danites, and that the Danites told him that Joseph Smith was a terrorist threat. and that the Danites told him that Joseph Smith changed the name of his church and became Christian. And this is what the church is trying to keep you from learning. That's the end goal. Those who leave the church because they can't stand the church that lies about their own history, you still never find out what the church is covering up and hiding. You think it's that Joseph Smith was a polygamist, or used a rock and a hat, or changed to priestcraft. All violating his own, which came from the Book of Mormon's doctrine. And you don't stop and think, there's a contradiction here. Did Joseph Smith actually make all these changes in 1838? What's going on? And you never read the Joseph Smith papers. It's all right there. The licenses that Joseph Smith gave out to the elders, including Brigham and Heber, had a certain name of the church. But when Joseph was in Liberty Jail, hey, the names are changing of the church. What's going on here? Why is Brigham Young calling himself a president? I found that document yesterday. Because earlier this year, I found the minutes where the insufficient to form a quorum and thus conduct business Danites called Brigham Young president, with Thomas B. Marsh as president. Both of them were being called president. I found the source document of when that occurred. Brigham Young was called a president as a counselor to Thomas B. Marsh, and thus today Oakes and Irene are counselors called presidents. It's not Joseph. Joseph never called him president after that. Because Joseph never knew. It was a secret combination hidden among the Mormons to overthrow Joseph and murder him. And so yeah, in 2017, that's what I was doing research on. My neighbor asked me before Sunday school if I knew that Joseph Smith had a pistol. Oh, there it is. They got me. Asked me if I knew that Joseph Smith had a pistol. I said, yeah, third great grandfather. We all know it in the family. Did you know he had two? Oh, no. And so, did the research. And did an investigation of the crime scene. And so the same techniques that I used to decipher Paleo-Hebrew was used in investigating the crime scene. Patterns, anomaly, why? Develop a theory test using logical Socratic methodology. Run the test. Can't just claim the theory and not have a test to confirm it. Like so many others that are out there. And then get 3 confirmations from 3 separate tests, and bada book, bada boom, you've got an established fact. And so, as I'm going over the crime scene, I then got to the point of, oh crap. And I went back to the beginning, because Vicini said that's what I need to do, and so I went back to the beginning. concentrated on Mountain Dew. And you do know that's Princess Bride, right? I think Mormons all know that because it's not rated R. Again, idol worship in the For Strength of Youth pamphlet. I was working for the church, remember? When that pamphlet came out, they presented it to us to see what our response was before they released it officially for the general Mormon public, before they would begin the actual printing in mass numbers. And so yeah, I saw that they claimed that Benson said we're not allowed to watch R-rated movies. And I had to, I don't memorize, but he kept going. There was no period after do not watch R-rated movies. And thus that changes the meaning of the sentence. Plus, he also incorporated Article of Faith number 13 for further confirmation that that's not what he meant. But then you had President Hinckley, who would go on to be interviewed on 60 Minutes and outright lie. Oh, that was disgraceful. Hinckley, what are you doing? You're representing our church. No! And yeah, we don't watch R-rated movies. But he was allowed to say it. He didn't get further questioned, as a reporter ought to do. And so it's never been canonized. And there are people who try to claim that when the president speaks at the pulpit of conference, that's official doctrine and canon. But then you get others who come up and contradict it by saying, no, all 15 of us need to be in perfect harmony, singing Kumbaya in order for canonized doctrine. What? I thought the president of the church was the only one authorized. Why are other people allowed to be participants in authorization? That's weird. I don't find that scripture anywhere. Where is that? Please, Oaks, tell me. You know when he becomes president, it's going to change. You know it's gonna change. He's only saying it now. Oh dear God, guys, come on. And so, yeah, I mean, this isn't just about authority. This isn't about your agency as you're giving it up to the church and wearing the underwear. And then I get people who will get extremist. Well, if the church isn't true and I don't have to wear my underwear, then I don't want to go naked. I don't want to have sex with strangers and orgies. The temple covenants, I have to obey them. Oh my God. Extremism is another fallacy argument, which means it's a falsehood. You're not required to do anything you don't want to do. You need to understand consequences. And so, yeah, there are those who leave the church and then become whores or drunken bums or doing drugs and other crimes because they think that they're now free. They didn't learn about seed fruit. There are consequences. And you've got to understand what the consequences are. but you can't impose consequences on others that are not consequences. Calling sin sin when it's not sin. Calling crime crime when it's not crime. Because you're just trying to take away their agency and force them to obey your for strength of youth standards and values. And that's Lucifer's plan of happiness. You're following Lucifer, and you're claiming it's Jesus' way. It's the covenant path of Jesus. You know, we have to have agency taken from us, and the symbol of our agency taken from us in the covenant path is our underwear. So they never call it underwear, do they? You didn't even listen to conference, did you? You missed Oakes' talk, didn't you? I listened, and I'm supposedly an anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, apostate choral whore. And yet you're the one who didn't watch conference and listen and obey. I at least watched and did videos. And that's when I was first attacked on Movie Maker. It was during the Sunday afternoon, in between the Sunday sessions. All of a sudden, my Movie Maker got altered. Permanently altered. I now have to permanently change it every time to upload videos. So, yeah, it's about why the church is lying. It's not just to protect their authority, to protect their control over you. The church purposely wants you dead. They are willing to sacrifice your lives so that the kingdom gets restored. See, because the prophets claim that the kingdom is the institution, that the kingdom is the administration, the authority. And so Mormons have to be subjects to the kingdom. But you've never read your scriptures, have you? You are supposed to be the kingdom. Without you, there is no kingdom. Thus why Joseph Smith and the leadership in 1834, after Sidney Rigdon raised his hand and proposed a change of the name of the church from the Church of Christ to the Church of the Latter-day Saints. Your church. The Christ had not come yet, though they could have said Joseph Smith's church, the Church of Joseph Smith, or Messiah ben Joseph. But it was already tough enough with the indoctrination of Christianity to try to lead Mormons step by step, line upon line, precept upon precept, to understand the learning of the Jews. And then there was that whole coup that occurred. And so the millennial church would actually be the name of the Christ. Amen. Amenel. Emmanuel. Isaiah. The reverse spelling of Jesus. Isaiah, salvation of Yah. Jesus, Yah of salvation. Who's Yah? Read Eva Vasilevska's book. You'll know exactly who Yah is. So yeah, the church is wanting to murder you. They want their kingdom back. They failed in 2020. Nelson failed for April conference this year. And so yeah, they're pissed at me. But the mere fact that the church is attacking me is not supposed to mean that you are supposed to attack me. But that's what you do, isn't it? When I quote from the Book of Mormon, when I quote from Joseph Smith, you're angry and offended. And you don't catch on. You've never learned anything from the Book of Mormon or from Joseph Smith. You're just going through the motions. The church is a tribal gang, a criminal organization, where you have to commit crimes to protect the church. And thus Mormons, in government, in business, in society, in your neighborhood, you are the enemy. You are the sleeper cells that have been activated now and will be continually activated. Even my brother was activated by the church to attack me, as my brother has hired a lawyer to activate her to attack me. But she backed down after I explained things. So I will not expose her, as I promised I wouldn't if she backed off. So she did, and so I will not expose her. But dear God, now my food money is gone. I am banned from viewing YouTube, because that's where I get my news from. I am banned from watching the news. I am being kept, making it harder for me to warn you. And again, why are you attacking me? Because you've chosen the prophets over Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. I had Ray Montgomery threatening me earlier this year. You're gonna die on 8 April 2024. Because remember, I'm a revelator. Revelation 19. Revelation 19. If you claim that John is a revelator, but deny that he's revealing the day and the hours, you're denying him as a revelator. Doesn't matter if you say he is. If you do not acknowledge that he revealed days and hours for you, you deny him as a revelator. You are the enemy. You are a liar. You are a denialist. You are a supersessionismist. You've replaced the Jews of prophecy and revelation, of visions. And so, yeah, when I tell you about the dreams I've had, it's on purpose. Because I'm a visionary man. How did Laman and Lemuel treat their father as a visionary man? How did his wife treat him as a visionary man? Did you know that that was a prophecy? Nope. You don't believe. So. Alrighty, we're over an hour, aren't we? So I'm already attacked. Travis, is that you? Are you doing a video? Well, this AI is dangerous, guys. But yeah, 3rd Nephi, chapter 7, this year, because they failed in 2020. America will be overthrown. Chaos will ensue. Survival of the fittest will be forced upon you. If you want to survive and have your families survive, you are going to be forced to commit crimes. And the church is going to try to get the keys from the governor. And it will be given to them. But then the church is going to say, all of you have to obey us. if you want to stay here in Utah. See, I had Robin concerned, what does she do? Where does she go? Nowhere. We're all doomed. Don't get mad at me. 2020 was the Exodus, and you all missed it. You didn't look for your Christ. You didn't know that he was here. All of the prophecies got fulfilled, except for they failed in the end. And so they had to go to plan B. Dear God. And so, yeah, if you were to pay attention to all the news going on, put it all together, you'd see that our government is also against us. They're purposely setting it up to destroy this nation. And they're expecting that after the ashes, a new world order will arise. But evangelicals and Islam do not understand that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is using them so that the church can get their kingdom back. And so, yeah, if you're thinking that the church is going to be righteous, and allow you agency, and you'll be able to live your life, and it just won't be as financially burdensome and legally burdensome as it currently is, you need to understand that the church under Brigham was very bad. There's a reason why Brigham Young had so many divorces, why there were people who left, why there were people who were ruined and murdered. Your fantasy about how the church should be is not based on the reality of what they're setting up for. I mean, to hear Mormon men get upset with me when I talk about child bride polygamy, and women don't see the danger in that. I saw it in the singles wards. The young women wanted nothing to do with me because I was divorced. There were women in both the older and younger singles ward who insisted that polygamy is wrong, as I would eventually find out that there was an underground ordained women movement, a secret combination. And I was talking to one girl in 2014 who was part of that secret group. And I said, oh, yeah, did you know that Joseph Smith in 17th of March, 1842? No, shh. What do you mean, shh? It's Joseph Smith. What are you talking about? No, shh. I don't want people to know. Know what? What's going on? And so, yeah, Kate Kelly gets excommunicated. If you want something done right, let a man run it for you. If you're ashamed of Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon, that's why you're doing it in secret. That's why there are secret combinations, because they know they're criminal. They don't want anybody to know. So this church, they won't tell you the truth. So you have to pay attention to what gets leaked. When the church says they're meeting with Islamic government and religious leaders, are you really going to be that fooled when you see that Islam is now against Israel? Or are you going to say, did the church pay for that? Yeah. When Nelson gets up at the beginning of his conference tenure and says, Russia, if you're listening, and you don't make the connection to the Ukraine war, you don't make the connection to Bears Ears and uranium, you need to pay attention, because this church does not focus on missionary work. Their full form and function as the kingdom is for the kingdom, not for you. And until you understand and realize that, it'll be too late. Because you're all going to die. Robin. So yeah, that's what we would need to do. Those who believe, we'd have to gather at the waters of Mormon until wicked King Noah finds out, sends his troops to murder us, and then we'd have to have an exodus, go to Zion and Zarahemla. That was Brigham Young. Ooh, he was already planning ahead, even though he was on Plan B, as he had fled the country into England, missionary work. He was getting reports from Nauvoo on their growth and development in Nauvoo, and claiming that they were already setting up a second city that was supposed to be named Zarahemla, and that's in our Doctrine and Covenants, 126 or something like that. But nonetheless, I saw the background behind it. It was not Joseph. They're calling it the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the big tip-off. Nauvoo was settled by the Danites who fled from Adam-on-Diamond, that sacred headquarters. But yeah, I can keep on rambling, and I'm over an hour now, aren't I? So. But yeah, that's... We don't have ways of having believers meet together. And I don't know how to do it. You know, Denver Snuffer, he's got several thousand that follow him. He never even wanted to be a leader. It was the Mormons who left the church for him. And then there's Christopher. There's a bunch of Mormons who believe in Christopher, even though Christopher came out and said, I made this all up. It's a fiction. It's not real. I was just fooling the Mormons, seeing how many Mormons are going to be that stupid and believe it. So over the years, I get these people, oh, have you read Christopher? Oh, yes, it was a good book. It was well written, but it's not real. He said so. Why are you believing it's real and forcing me to believe it's real when it's not real? Because he said it's not real. And then John Dehlin, John Dehlin. He left the church. He's got a following. There are people who believe him. Don't you criticize him for getting a PhD at BYU in psychology, Travis. I'm sorry. You will not force me to deny the truth. John Dehlin knows the truth. He knows about the psychologists who are getting busted this year. He knows. He's a psychologist, a PhD. He has to deny the ultimate truth that psychology is harmfully dangerous as a fraud. Because that's his PhD. That's his career. He can't denounce it because he has nothing else to fall back on. Just like Natasha Helfer. For whatever possessed her to use science, can't do any other job because she's a psychologist. That's all she knows. And so when the church excommunicated her and fired her, just like John Dehlin, they don't have anything else to do. Avraham Gileadi, excommunicated and fired. He has nothing else to do. And so he instead, because he had no career with it, the church was his career, was forced to go on his hands and knees begging to be taken back, denying the truth. The church can't be true if that's the case. But yet, people have to be lied to by John Dehlin and Natasha Helfer and Avraham Gileadi. And people don't do the research. They don't know how to check. What the hell, William Foxwell Albright? This is decipherment of Paleo-Hebrew? What the hell? Not a single thing is right. How did you get credibility for this? Sir Alan Gardner told you to bias your theory test with acronym theory? Once you know how to do it, then you can expose the cons and the frauds that are out there. Until then, you're a sucker and a loser as they prey upon you. You know, Jeremy Reynolds, he's got a following now. And yet, he plagiarized from Gerald and Sandra Tanner. None of it's his. He just got punished, and others, like John Dehlin, helped prop him up. And I just, come on, guys. Joseph Smith Papers. That's all you got to do. Don't go to published authors. Don't go to people's claims. Joseph Smith Papers. Look in the whole context. It's all there for you. The church is not true, and the church made you dumb so that you wouldn't look up the Joseph Smith Papers. Because church history is what destroys this church. But you give up, either to be faith promoting or doubt promoting. And you never learn the truth about Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. So yes, I get attacked by Exfo Nevermos. You're wrong, Travis. No, I'm not. Cut it out. And so, yeah, if you're going to impose Christianity upon me in the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, obviously I'm the devil. But you're wrong. You are the evil one for replacing the Jews. So, yeah, I'm pretty much taking today off because I'm going to be definitely attacked for this video as the prophets are leaving their homes to head down to Temple Square for their weekly Thursday meeting at 10 in the church administration building because Nelson failed. And you'd think that Mormons would catch on. You know, the video I did last night, it started out as one thing, but as I finished, it became another. That's just how it works. There is no script. I'm just talking to you as one Mormon to others, whether you are a disbelieving Mormon or an Exfo Never Mormon who disbelieves. that the whole rapture thing is not in Mormonism. We don't believe in the rapture. That's a Christian thing. And yet, I'm seeing that the church is actually doing the rapture thing by missionaries dying. So all those missionaries listed as a tribute memorial. That's a sad reminder that this church is not true. They are forcing the fulfillment of the prophecy according to their will. And as I've watched Deep Space Nine about the emissary, you cannot force prophecy. You either are the fulfillment or you're not. That's what I've learned. And I became the being, and I just am inspired to do things, and then I find out when I'm doing them or afterwards, oh, I fulfilled them. So the dreams in the beginning, the 86 summer dream, that was the one I just had the other week. Yeah, I didn't know it was a prophecy dream. I didn't know what a prophecy dream was. I know about Joseph having prophecy dreams, and so yeah, I'm going, wow, it was so cool, and wrote it all out into a book. Didn't have the money to publish it. No Amazon back then. And and so I had to learn to interpret my dreams. And because the church doesn't provide you with lesson manuals on how to interpret your dreams, I then had to learn for myself. So I had to go for the world's interpretation, and I found one book that seemed to be more in harmony with my dreams, but I would come to be the dream interpreter. Be the being. So, alrighty. Just so sad, women, that you want to be abused. And you attack me as Beth from kindergarten. And I'd better stop now before I start crying. I don't want any of you to be abused. And yet I am the one getting abused by you. Because the church has made you into a weapon. The church, by claiming love, has turned you to a vessel of hate. So yeah, with the church news, 99 plus 1. That was Lucifer's doctrine. You're supposed to love everybody. Nelson should have told you to love everybody. He didn't. He said, choose one person to love. We'll start from there. And I told you, I've read Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible. I'm not possessed with the devil. He has words. Those words are seed. I know the consequences of those words. I know he's wrong. And so thus, he can't possess me to be a demon. You're using Christianity. Stop it. That's idol worship. It's superstition. And so, yeah, he says, love whoever you want. But he makes it very clear, Jesus is wrong. You can't love everybody. It's impossible, he says. No, it's not. If you treat everybody equally. And treating people equally does not mean measurement standards. You gotta treat people as human. And yes, there are those who prey upon people who are nice to them. You go, an easy target for a con, like a Ferengi. But by being good to all, the others will expose themselves as your enemy. Because they'll be protesting too much. They'll be trying too hard to be kind and good to you. And then it'll start off slow sometimes. Other times it'll be an immediate, give me all your money. But sometimes they'll be sneaky, thinking to get as much out of you as possible rather than a one-time fix. It just depends on the enemy. You should know your enemy so that you don't get deceived, so that you don't stay in the wrong church. It is so blatantly obvious on the outward appearance. Even my Christian peers knew about the inverted pentagram. I didn't. So, anyway. 2 videos, sections that are 38 minutes long. Dear God. YouTube is going to be pissed with this one. Thus the church.